What is going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice. Wanted to bring you guys another Indianapolis Colts dream offseason. All right, I did a video about this last year. A lot of you guys tended to like this video, kind of talking about what would be a dream offseason for you, right? If you're the Indianapolis Colts, right? So I'm going to go ahead and hop into this. And please let me know, guys, in the comments below, what are some things that you want the Colts to do? What are some players, maybe coaches, something? What is it about this 2024 offseason that would make you guys just go, wow, the Indianapolis Colts have restored my faith? Again, this is dream scenario. Okay, so most likely half this stuff doesn't happen. Right? This is dream scenario, but I also wanted to make this video as realistic as I could possibly make it while also making it a dream scenario, right? I'm not out here trying to, be all crazy with the numbers and whatnot, but there's some people that I think, we could make some things work for this. All right, so first things first, we'll go ahead and run with what we would do first. We'll kind of break it down in order. We're going to start from re-signing guys, who we get in free agency, draft, that sort of thing, right? So first things first, we kind of made videos about this already, but who I absolutely would make sure we re-sign. You re-sign Pittman, you re-sign Grover, you re-sign Moore, you re-sign Blackman. Those are four that I absolutely need the Indianapolis Colts to re-sign. The great thing is with Pittman, if you don't reach a contract agreement this offseason, you can always tag him. And right now the franchise tag is at $20 million. So, that makes a lot of sense for me. When it comes to Grover, you paid him around $10 million. It puts him in the top 20 for nose tackles. Again, like I said in the other video, he's a great run-stopping defensive tackle, one of the best in the business, but definitely does not have a great sense to get after the quarterback. So I would think a contract very similar to what he has now definitely could be something that we could see. Maybe you backload that contract because remember the salary cap most likely is going to increase next year by quite a bit. So wouldn't be surprised if Indy was able to make some things happen there by, some of these contracts, they might be longer contracts, but they might be more backloaded now because you feel like you can do some more numbers in these first few years, right? So Grover there, let's just say $10 million. That's $30 million of your cap. Oh, and which, by the way, as of currently, the Indianapolis Colts have around $66 million in cap to play with. Now, obviously, if Ballard wanted to tweak some things, maybe, try to incentivize guys to help with fixing some of the contracts, maybe you could get it around 70, something like that. But Kenny Moore also is going to get paid here. I'm hoping you can get him for around $9 million a year for the next few years for him. And then Blackman getting around $6.5 million a year probably. So when you're looking at total numbers, you're looking at around $45 million of your $66 million that you have currently to spend on these guys, which will leave you with around $21 million. $21 million around that. Okay, so those are the guys that I would say you absolutely need to make sure bringing back. Now, obviously, if there are other issues, we will mention that. But that's the guys who I'm hoping you bring back because at least with Pittman, you have a number one guy there, at least for now, that can do great things for you. And Grover, you solidify the middle of that defensive line. Kenny Moore, you have that piece at the cornerback position that is going to help keep you going the way you want to. And Julian Blackman, despite the injuries that he sustained, Julian Blackmon, when he's healthy, plays really good football for Indy. So I really want to keep him around. Don't want to try to weaken that secondary any more than it already is, right? So here is where we go into free agency. Now, this isn't everyone that I would want to bring in, but I'm looking at two players from the Carolina Panthers that I would love to get here. I'm going to go ahead and say that it is Jeremy Chin and Brian Burns from the Panthers. Now, I know both of those guys are going to be free agents. It will be interesting to see if Carolina uses the franchise tag on Brian Burns. But my wishful thinking is Carolina is shopping right now. Like they're cleaning house and they're just letting people go. And Brian Burns is the one key there because Brian Burns, albeit has not been an all-star level defensive end, he has shown you that when he's healthy and when he's got a good situation around him, Brian Burns can get you those double-digit sacks. He had you 12 and a half just 2 years ago. This is a guy that definitely can still ball. He's only 26 years old, and he's a really good edge rusher, and I feel a change of scenery to bring him in would be a fantastic situation for him. And I know that the money is going to be tight. I know the money would be really tight to get somebody like him. But I feel Ballard could work some things around there. But him knowing that they still need a elite edge guy to help set that defensive line over the edge, Brian Burns could be that answer. Now, I know some people talk about Danielle Hunter and Josh Allen. Don't see Josh Allen leaving Jacksonville, and I don't see where Ballard gives Hunter over $22 million a year. I just don't see it happening. Another reason why I say Jeremy Chin as well, and another name that I also mentioned here could be Xavier McKinney, because Xavier McKinney is a fantastic player for the safety position. I feel like Jeremy Chin and Xavier McKinney would work really well in that safety group of the defense that we already have. That would be where they're at their best, where they're just free roaming a lot more. And of course, a lot of people have been mentioning to me that safety room's got to get better. I mean, outside of Julian Blackmon, you don't really have a definitive answer for your safety group. I mean, when it comes to Rodney Thomas, he didn't have a great season. He had a clear drop off. Nick Cross, even though Nick Cross, comes in for a few snaps and, does really well on those few snaps, he's shown you that when he's a full-time starter, he's not necessarily the greatest. He still has his moments. He's still a young player. He still needs to get better. And Daniel Scott, who you just drafted out of Cal this year, he's supposed to be your third or fourth safety. So I'm not trusting relying on that. So if I'm looking to try to improve the safety position, I'm going for someone like Jeremy Chin or Xavier McKinney, who were highly talented players when they came into the league, and they're just in situations where they're just not thriving because of the overall team or a couple other different things. But I think they could thrive in this system. They're both really great players, and they'd be cheaper. They'd be cheaper than the alternatives. There's a lot cheap guys out there that you could get in this safety free agency class. It'd be one thing that I'd expect Ballard to try to get after, because there's some good contracts out there that you can get for these guys. And it's one of the reasons why I know a lot of people are talking about L'Jarius Sneed. I'm not on the train of getting L'Jarius Sneed unless you feel that is going to be your big-time free agent this offseason, because let's face it, guys, he's not going to get paid less than $10 million this year. He's playing a phenomenal year for Kansas City, and I don't see any situation where L'Jarius Sneed does not get a contract of at least $10 million a year. He's one of the better cornerbacks in the league this year. Those guys get paid. So that would be the direction I would be for the secondary and for the defensive line, is try to solidify your defensive line with a perennial all-star potential in Brian Burns and getting that safety depth there that could really help take your secondary to the next level. And then by draft-wise, I'll say this. So I think that when it comes to wide receiver or corner is the two positions you want to target the most in this draft. Now, I will say this. If you go with Brock Bowers, which a lot of people have been mocking Brock Bowers to the Indianapolis Colts, I am in favor of that. I love that if Indy could get a weapon like Brock Bowers on this team. I'm 100% for it. But I'm going to just say this. So if Bowers is gone and you're looking at this situation, I would say draft best available player at those two positions wherever you are. And then whichever one you go with the opposite in the second round. Now, I will climb the ladder, and I will sit here and I'll suggest that I think the Colts should go for, if they're not going to get wide receiver, and maybe those top wide receivers are off the board. If Brock Bowers is gone, Malik Neighbors is gone, Roma Dudeson's gone, I'm sitting there saying, get Kool-Aid McKinstry or Cooper DeJean. That's what I'm going with. Because those are two players at the quarterback room that are first round, first caliber players that can immediately set an impact on your secondary immediately when they come in. And then I feel confident enough to say that in the second round, you could find a more high-end wide receiver in the second round than at the quarterback position. And you know what? Even if Nate Wiggins is there at cornerback, I'll take that too. I just think first-round guys, those are the ones you want to get. I just don't see a situation where the overall depth of cornerback is going to last beyond the wide receiver depth. Because there's a lot of wide receivers that in these first two rounds, they're going to get selected. There's like 8, 9, or 10 guys that will be day one starters. And I really would like to see Indy, if they could even get cornerback in the first round and then get wide receiver in the second. Get that other guy that's going to hop in there and help be that difference maker and can be, getting some time out there with the team. So that would definitely be what I would say for Indy for the draft. Now, obviously, I'm not giving a full draft report here, but that's just my looking at it right now and saying that would be the best case scenario for me if I'm Indy and I'm looking at myself and I'm saying that if I could get the best weapon available at offense too for the very beginning. Now, I'll reiterate this just for the fact, just to make sure everyone hears me clearly. Best offensive weapons. If Brock Bowers, Malik Neighbors, Roma Dunson is there in the teens, I'm team trade to get them or take them early in that first. I'm team take those. But if those are gone, give me the best cornerback available that you got, and then go and get wide receiver in the second round. That's my opinion on it. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. Like I said, please let me know, what do you guys feel about this team going forward, and what do you think would be a dream off season for you? I'd love to see the comments and see what you guys can come up with for everything that we have going. But that's going to do it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, go Colts.